Hey Don, hey Donald, how's it going? This video is for you guys, help you out with the pentatonic licks in the key of A minor. Donald, looking forward to seeing you back here soon, and I hope this video helps. So I'll go through each one, and I'll go through it at normal speed and then slow, and then I'll go ahead and give a brief commentary on some of the specific things that will help you to get the right sound out of the licks. Alright, lick number one. Here it is slow. And the thing to note about this lick is, of course, the double stop slide that happens right from the start. It is a grace note slide, otherwise known as a one-beat slide. So there's two kinds of slides you can do. Two-beat slides sound like this. So you hear the two notes there. But on a grace note slide, you generally only hear one beat, so they're done very quickly. Then you're just going to take it down the scale. Lick number two. Couple things to note about this. First of all, we have a rollover, and that is where you are playing two notes that are on the same fret but on adjacent strings. In this case, we're rolling over from the 5th fret of the 4th string to the 5th fret of the 3rd string. We want to actually be on the flat part of our finger and then roll the finger over to catch the note that's on the next string up. What we don't want is, well, at least in this case, we don't want to bleed the notes like this. So you roll over in order to get the same sound as if you're jumping the finger. We also are ending with some vibrato. And I know we touched on this, but as you know, you are generally using the 3rd or the 2nd finger to do your vibrato, and you are going to line up whatever fingers are behind the finger that is doing the vibrato in order to help reinforce that finger. And the action of the vibrato is actually more in the wrist and even the forearm than the fingers themselves. And so you get this action going, and I'll turn right over here so you can see it's more like this as opposed to just the hand going like this. When doing vibrato on the bottom 3 strings, you generally are going to pull in a downward direction. When executing on the top 3 strings, generally going in an upward direction. Okay, let's look at lick number 3. Uses mostly notes that are found on the lower strings of the scale, and you are starting with a slide. You're starting with a one-beat slide into the 7th fret. And I often get asked, how do you know where to slide from? Well, generally, you are sliding from whatever note is below the note you're going to in the scale. So in this case, we're going to slide from the 5th fret to the 7th, and I'm going to use the same finger that I would normally use to play that note of the scale. In this case, we use the 3rd finger. So we're sliding with the 3rd finger, climbing up the scale, spending a little bit of time on the 4th string, and we're doing a slight bend called a quarter bend, which is very slight on the bottom string with the pinky. We'll get into bends more with this lick, lick number 4. which sounds like this. Here it is slow. Okay, bends. Bends are similar to vibrato in that you generally want to bend with your second or third finger so that you can put other fingers behind the bending finger to reinforce that finger. It has more of a job to do than with vibrato since it's pushing the strings or pulling the strings. When you're on the top three strings, you're generally going to bend up. When you're on the bottom strings, generally pulling down. The important thing about doing a bend is to always bend in pitch, and that's something that a lot of beginners miss. You're not just throwing the string up, you are literally bending the pitch of the note to another note. And in this case, we are bending the 7th fret of the 3rd string up a full step so that that 7th fret at the peak of its bend sounds like the 9th fret. There's the 9th fret. So you're getting that same pitch. And again, you're going to try to use the whole hand and the wrist. It's okay to hang the thumb up and over if it gives you a little bit of leverage in order to help you pull the bend off. When you bring the bend up, you want to, in this case, stop the bend before it has a chance to come down. So you don't want it to sound like this. You hear it come down. In this case, you want it just to go up and stop. Now, basically, the best way to do that is to actually bring the pick back to the string that the bend is on, and that'll stop it immediately. At the same time, you bring your fingers off the string. Okay, that's the first 4 licks. We've got some more to go. Look for that in the next segment.